Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients, smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
What's going on, fam? This is Jay Cameron inviting you to join us in Ethiopia next March 2025. And this is going to be an iconic trip that you don't want to miss, a trip of a lifetime. We're going to be visiting Addis Ababa, Gondor, Lalibela. You'll have a chance to taste the amazing Ethiopian food. You'll also have a chance to visit the Rastafarian community. You'll get the history, you'll get the fashion, you'll have an opportunity to shop. It's going to be a trip, an experience of a lifetime. So make sure you sign up to join us in Ethiopia, March 2025.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream this evening. It is Monday, August the 12th. We almost halfway in the month. It is crazy how these days are just passing so fast, ladies and gentlemen. It won't be that long for y'all to be out there early voting. And for those of you who say you're going to vote, whatever how you're going to vote, I always recommend early voting because you don't want to be in that crowd on election day. I never did that. So I've always been a person that believed in early voting. You get in, you get out. That's what, if you choose to. Now, if you're choosing the couch, that's not your issue. That's not your problem. But you can just watch the results on TV, right? Whenever they come in. All right. So we're going to have a conversation today about some things that's going on in Chicago in relation to, the Democrat Party. Democrats have ran that city for a very long time. The migrant crisis is real huge in Chicago. So we're going to, one of our sisters said in Chicago that's going on, but we have to understand that right now you got Vice President Kamala Harris. She's running for President of the United States. Now, you do know that she's already been in office for the past 3.5 years. So she's not running like she's a new candidate or something. So you already got a preview of what you would see because the same cast of characters that was around Biden is around her. But we'll get to talking about that a little bit later in class. But let's go on and get to, our devotional. Let's get to that on Monday. And we got a new devotional today, hot off the press from Atlanta, Georgia. So let's go ahead and cue, this up, and then we'll be back to get started.
I probably did. I would Detective Thorpe, his brain was the size of a squirrel brain. So you could just tell him anything, he gonna go for it.
You're right. At this time, the state's gonna ask permission to treat Mr. Copeland as a hostile witness under pursuant to 24 6/11, Your Honor.
Granted.
Thank you.
What that mean?
Don't worry about it. That's just for her to understand how she can ask the questions. You just continue to answer them truthfully.
Isn't it true that in this January 11, 2015 interview, that you told Detective Thorpe that at Club Crucial on that Monday before Donovan Thomas was killed, that Kel punched you in the back of your head?
I don't recall what I told the detective.
And is it
Specifically.
I'm sorry. Cut you off.
I don't recall what I told him specifically, however you pronounce it.
Okay. And is it also true that after Kel punched you in the back of the head, then other people came and began jumping on you as well?
They time gonna come.
That's not the question I asked you. Is it true that you told Detective Thorpe during this January 11, 2000 interview that after Kel punched you in your head, that other individuals also began to jump on you as well?
I don't recall what I done told the police. Y'all gonna charge me for what I did? I don't did the time for the crimes y'all caught me for.
Okay. Would you mind your language while we're sitting here in court?
I'm trying to. You got me. Y'all need to give me a break because my blood pressure is real high. I keep telling y'all, leave me alone.
Okay. And the quicker we get through this, the quicker we can leave you alone. Do you understand?
Okay,
that?
I don't recall.
Okay. Going back to January 11th, 2015.
I don't recall.
Can I finish the
Made
question?
him listen to the
And
question.
they keep bringing up third name. So what I did was, to get him off of me, I said, third did this, third did that, third did, because I knew they would never, I knew he didn't do it. And in my mind, I knew that the police would never go mess with him. So it was easy for me to try to throw the blame off on him to get them off of me. And that's what I was doing from all these years. I don't remember what I done told them in the past, but my whole motive was Thug did it because I knew he didn't do it and they couldn't lock him up. And they keep talking about Thug. So guess what I'm gonna tell them? Yeah. What else you want me to tell them? Yeah, he killed this person. Yeah, he did that. That's what I'm gonna do. And that's right now. If I walk out this thing and they say, if I walk out this thing and they say, the police stop me now. Hey man, give me something about Thug. Make something up about him again.
On January 11, 2015, when you went to speak to the police.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Lil Woody from the courtroom in Atlanta with the YSL case. He has been interesting to watch. Very, very funny to watch Lil Woody in court with them folks. He had them frustrated. There was so much video of him got the prosecutor and them frustrated. I know they probably was calling him all kind of cuss words out of there. All right, so, let's get started. Class is in session. And we know we get class participation if we need to. So I saw some people talking about Vice President Kamala Harris won't take interviews, and she claims she's going to do an interview by the end of the month. That's what she recently claimed. She also claimed that they're going to finally put their policies on the website. That's what she's claimed too this week. So we'll be looking for that. We always on policy watch with Vice President Kamala Harris. So if we talk about our brothers and sisters in Chicago, I don't know if anybody from Chicago in the chat, but Chicago has been one of the major cities where the migrant crisis has been real bad. Okay. Not only that they're coming to the city, or they be there, a lot of them are also being bussed up there too from Texas. That's true. Greg Abbott say, hey, you're a sanctuary city. And that started with Lori Lightfoot. She started running off at the mouth with Greg Abbott when she was in office, talking about, why is he bussing? And he wasn't sending nobody to Chicago at the time. So when Lori Lightfoot ran off at the mouth to Greg Abbott down here in Texas, he said, oh, okay, well, you want some migrants too? Well, shoot, since you're a sanctuary city, here you go. And that's how the buses start going up there to Chicago. It wasn't Brandon Johnson that kind of poked the bear. That was Lori Lightfoot on the end of her tenure that kind of poked the bear. And he said, well, yeah, we'll take them. And there you go. So now they've been coming ever since Lori Lightfoot opened her mouth and ran her mouth when they weren't even sending. He was sending migrants to D.C. at first. He was sending them to D.C., and then when people in New York start running off at the mouth, and he starts sending them over there, it's kind of like if you run off at the mouth by them, he'll send them your way if you're a sanctuary city. And Illinois is a sanctuary state as well. So in the meantime, while these politicians are playing games, who's suffering at the hands of the Democrat policies is Black Americans. Now, of course, I know people of all communities are suffering with the migrant crisis, not saying that, but, here we talk about what happens with Black America. Other communities have their own platforms to talk about what they need to talk about. And many people in the city in general did not want Chicago to be a sanctuary city. Many of them were going to and we covered this, definitely on the podcast and even here. Many people went up to the city council meeting and they were giving Brandon Johnson the business. Why? Many people, voted for Brandon Johnson. He's a Democrat. And all the aldermen, Democrats, they call them aldermen in Chicago. We may call them the city councilmen in like certain cities down here or maybe throughout the country. But they call them aldermen up there. The same thing, instead of councilmen. They told them, we don't want a sanctuary city. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. I forgot that brother name, the alderman that was trying to say, hey, let's put it to a vote, let the people vote on it. And Brandon Johnson is the one that stood in the way for the people to actually have some democratic, a democratic voice. In other words, they want it on the ballot. That way, if the people can vote on it, if they want sanctuary city status or not. And when Brandon Johnson and the Democrats in Chicago did that, it just clicked to me. I said, wait a minute. These people don't believe in democracy. They do all that preaching about democracy. We need to save democracy. Trump is a threat to our democracy. But then when it was time to have some true democracy and put things on the ballot so voters can go make a choice. Listen, if the voters say they want sanctuary city, fine. They sanctuary city. If the voters don't want sanctuary city, then they don't want it. I think, personally, the majority of the things that these people are making laws on, it should be voted on by the people of the United States. You understand what I'm saying? It should be like, okay, y'all could pass something, but the people would have the final say so on the voting, right? Just like when they took the deal from the federal courts, the federal level with the Roe v. Wade, and they put it in the states. There are some states that say, yes, that's what we want. There are some states that said, no, that's not what we want, right? So it makes it a true democracy that everyone has a voice. But the Democrats don't believe in democracy because look at what they did with Vice President Kamala Harris. That was not democracy. Democracy would be, okay, Joe Biden bowed out. He say he bowed out because basically he was so toxic, he's going to make the Democrats lose in the election, right? This is what Joe Biden admitted in a recent interview. Democracy would have said, okay, if he bows out, we need to have a primary, right? So the people can actually vote for you in a primary to put you up as a nominee for the Democrat Party. That's not what happened. The donors and Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and all them, they got behind the scenes and they finessed to get Joe Biden out. Okay, they got Joe Biden out. Fine. No problem. Kamala Harris, I don't know why y'all excited about her. She was literally installed in that position. She was not voted in by the voters. Joe Biden was voted in by the voters. Kamala Harris wasn't. Donald Trump was voted in their primary by their voters, right? So that is what democracy said. How do you circumvent democracy, Democrats? But you're sitting up here telling people we need to come out and vote for a candidate you literally selected, not elected by the people. You selected this person, put her on the ballot, and what is this noise I keep hearing? I'm hearing something, and I don't even know what it is. It's throwing me off. I got to find out what I'm hearing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so they put her on the ballot. Y'all didn't select her. And then they're putting so much media behind her and so much spin behind her, right? So much spin. And nobody's paying attention to this. Say, wait a minute, this isn't right. Now, in Chicago, the policy of the Biden-Harris administration has been open borders. That's been their policy. It is at first when people was reporting that they were flying in migrants on top of coming across the border, they'll say, oh, that's misinformation or whatever. Then it comes out later. That's exactly what they were doing. Everything they claim is misinformation comes out later. That's exactly what they were doing. And they were flying them to cities like Chicago. 30,000 people a month was flying into this country during the Biden-Harris administration. They had an app called the CBP-1 that they were using in their home countries to get a flight to come over here to the United States of America. And they didn't just come over here and say, okay, put them over here and put them, and they can just get a job, right? Hey, they got to get it like they live. Oh, no. Listen to what this black woman says, what was happening out there in Chicago. This is going to kind of enrage a lot of American citizens. Let's go ahead and cue this up.
I'm just waiting on the day that everybody in Chicago wake up and start talking about how these Venezuelans are the only people that's getting jobs. How the Venezuelans in Chicago get an EBT card with $4,000 on there, and every time somebody posts it, y'all always removing it. I'm just waiting. Because it's crazy, like, I went to go fill out a whole bunch of job applications, and y'all know them things is in Spanish. Like, not to say I don't know Spanish, but that is crazy, like how a city can adjust to the outside before they make accommodations for the inside. But ain't nobody talking about that. It's all right, though.
Well, I understand what she meant by it's all right. It's not all right. So did you hear what she's saying? So Black Americans and of course all residents of Chicago are paying taxes, right? So she's saying that they're getting $4,000. Well, then there was a receipt that was posted. I just couldn't verify the authenticity of it, but I'm just going to say it's an alleged receipt. An alleged receipt that was posted online. I said alleged because I can't verify the authenticity, but it was supposedly came from a migrant, and it had thousands of dollars worth of EBT and cash value money on there that American citizens cannot get. So let's focus on Chicago. You have Black Americans who cannot get jobs. In this same city, they were doing secret job fairs in Chicago for the migrants. They kept it hidden. They kept it hush-hush. They didn't want nobody to know about it. The media found out about it. They had about 500 people in there. It was a job fair. Companies all over the place in the city of Chicago was trying to hire the migrants. But American citizens, you're not getting preferred in your own country. In Chicago, they were giving 6 months free rent to migrants in Chicago. Black Americans, you're getting nothing. If you cannot pay your rent, you will be evicted out of your home, apartment, wherever you're staying. Then you're going to be relegated to your car. And then now the Supreme Court, as of recently, allowed these governors to get you off the street. They can criminalize homelessness now. Yes, they're criminalizing homelessness. Look, Gavin Newsom, immediately after the Supreme Court said that, you would think, a Republican state would say that. It was a Democrat state, California. It's supposed to be for the poor and marginalized people. What did Gavin Newsom do in California? He immediately did executive order to get them homeless people off the street. Now, it was that horrible Democrat economy that they created in California that got people homeless, where everything is so freaking sky high where people cannot live. But no, you're going to criminalize the homeless people. So they're creating a homeless problem. And at the same time, they want to use the homeless to criminalize homelessness and make them slaves in jail by the 13th Amendment. Because you know the 13th Amendment allows slavery under crime and punishment. So this country has never abandoned slavery. It abandoned privately owned slavery, but it was transferred from privately owned to state-ran slavery. And the reason why there are people out here that don't have a problem with that kind of slavery is because they would say, oh, well, that's what they get. They deserve that. I'm a little bit more harsh. I'm the type of person I would say, look, certain crimes deserve to be capital punishment personally. And that was the only way to curb certain behavior. But these people want you to be a slave so you can work for corporations. That's the only time Americans can really get jobs. A lot of times, especially if you're poor. Yes, Sean, they're here. But that's all done by design. And who's in office that has got this many people across? The Biden-Harris administration. This was part of their legacy to do this. And you mean to tell me that we, as Black Americans, supposed to get excited about a woman who's black adjacent. That's what we're supposed to get excited about. Who's going to give us 4 more years of what's going on in Chicago. This is why we're saying that if you as a black American, getting, I don't know what you get out of symbolism, but you remember we had some other black Americans that came on, right? I need to find out where's that coming from, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a second, because I'm getting so thrown off by a certain noise I'm hearing. And I don't know where is that coming from. Just give me a second. I'll find it. See, I don't know where is that coming from. I was trying to find it. Give me a second. I was trying to find where it's at, 'cause that noise is throwing me off so much. It's like a messaging system, but I don't know exactly where it's at. No, it's not my Zoom. Okay, maybe I'll find it. But they want y'all to elect this lady, and like, what are you going to get out of that? Like, if you are a migrant, you're going to get something out of it, and that's fine. But if you're an American citizen, do you deserve to be homeless? And look at a city like Chicago. Chicago's a beautiful city. You know, the brothers and sisters from the time I went to Chicago treated me great. I mean, just great people, right? Great people, good food. The brothers and sisters love their city, Chicago. But you're going to sit up here and put black Americans in a position in a city that black Americans have helped establish, and you're going to have them homeless. And Brandon Johnson, your so-called black mayor, right? Nobody can debate that he's black, right? Your so-called black American, he's black American. Your black American mayor is going along with all of it. Let me tell you something, whether they from the soil or if they from immigrant background, one thing I've learned about these black folks in the Democrat Party, they're both on one accord with helping to undermine us so they can get their 30 shekels of silver, like in the Bible, right? Like Judas. They don't mind being a Judas to the black community because they're getting paid. They're getting paid. They're getting, papered up. They're going to get, you wouldn't surprise me if Brandon Johnson, after he get out of there, he try to run for Congress. So that's a lot of times what they do. They become a mayor. They run for Congress. They run for the Senate. They run for something, right, up there in Washington. As long as you be a good boy or girl, don't disrupt the status quo. Now, what is the status quo, Phil? What is the status quo, class? What is the status quo? The status quo is keep black Americans at the bottom at all costs. Do not let them rise. And we will put a black American overseer or a black African immigrant, Caribbean immigrant, don't matter. We will put someone that look like them in that position to actually help us. Because this is the thing about y'all as black people. If it was a white person doing it or doing certain things, y'all ready to protest, y'all ready to go in. Now, here recently, I'm starting to see black people say something about these black leaders, right? Now they're starting to say something. But before, they can just put somebody up like that and just do us dirty. You understand what I'm saying? Because they, and I don't know why. My thing is this. We should expect more as a community out of them. We should expect more out of them. Like, wait a minute. You know better like that because you come from this community. Brandon Johnson came from the community in Chicago. He knows better. He knows what's happening with the homeless situation in Chicago. He knows about the police. He knows about everything that happens in Chicago. And how dare Brandon Johnson sit up here and turn his back on his black American family in Chicago and follow the Democrat playbook. But Brandon Johnson wants to do more than just mayor. In order for him to do that, he got to play ball. And playing ball is going along with the Biden-Harris administration's mandate on immigration. It's just that simple. I'm not voting to transfer our anything as black Americans. I'm not voting to transfer resources or anything else to anybody. I'm not doing that. And I know if you vote for as it stands today, the Democrat Party within 90 days will have to turn their platform upside down, literally, for me to say, oh yeah, I can get with that now. They would have to basically go back to the middle. And they're not in the middle at all. They way left, way radical on some things. As a man, unaliving children doesn't, I'm sorry, that's not nothing I agree with one way or another. I'm not LGBT, and for sure I'm not an immigrant. So what is that? What could I do in that party? And then you have men like Ricky Smiley. They'll sit up here and get mad and yell and all of that. Boulay Martin, all of them, that y'all should just vote for her. Vote for her so I can go watch her take the resources of people from the city of Chicago and give it to other 4,000. That's cute. That's what that sister said. Back up again. Let me make sure I hear it just right. Let's play it again.
I'm just waiting on the day that everybody in Chicago wake up and start talking about how these Venezuelans are the only people that's getting jobs. How the Venezuelans in Chicago get an EBT card with $4,000 on there, and every time somebody posts it, y'all always removing it. I'm just waiting.
Okay, let's stop right there. Now, where's all the folks at? Folks, I know you here. Come on. Let's talk. Where's all them folks at? Now, if black folks get $300 in food stamps, you raising all kind of hell. But I know why you do it. It's a Jedi mind trick, because once you look at the research, the folks get the most government assistance out of everybody. They get the most food stamps, they get the most Section 8, they get the most everything. At the same time, telling you that you as a black person don't need food stamps, you don't need Section 8, you don't need welfare, get a job, but yet they own it. Way more than black Americans are. You can look that up. That's not a lie. So they'll tell you that for $300. But the migrants in Chicago are getting $4,000 EBT. Where is the folks at talking about lazy? They just want handouts from the government. The folks should be the main ones out here speaking up right now. You get mad when Lakeisha from the hood get about $500 to $1,000 worth of food stamps. But Lakeisha actually pays some taxes here. These people don't even pay nothing, come across here. They getting $4,000, but I want y'all to notice that, Black America, they're not saying nothing. They're quiet about all these people getting free hotels. Some of them complaining, but I'm not like it would be if it was Black Americans getting put up in free hotels, or Black Americans was getting the high dollar EBT, or Black American men would just be like running around all over the place in the cities, right? And just doing whatever, like some of these men are doing. Like they would be having a fit, ladies and gentlemen, if that was us doing all the same thing. They'll be having a fit. Now, $4,000 of taxpayer money. $4,000. Do you know what I know what I could do with $4,000? I'm not gonna go trick it off. You can do something good for some people. That could be like maybe a couple of, maybe some rent, couple of months rent. They can save that for a rainy day. Not to say $4,000 will make you rich, but shoot, it's something. But at least you paying taxes into the system where, okay, if you get something with it, well, hey, that come from your tax dollars. But explain to me, and I'm talking about later Democrat shills, explain to me how you can justify giving jobs, secret job fairs, paying rent, and giving cash payments to migrants, but when the Black Americans, the descendant of slaves, tell you about cash payment reparations, you are raising hell. You saying the country can't afford it. You said that would break the country financially. It would cause inflation. Why should I have to pay? I don't owe you anything. But yet, the same payments that can go out to Black Americans in reparations, you got no problem for migrants who didn't even fight for this country, no patriotism, no nothing, right? You're cool with them getting it. Could y'all explain that to me? Okay, Day of the Jackal says, Phil, I'm an immigrant from the Caribbean and a naturalized citizen. Hey, welcome to America. You did it the right way. Welcome. And say most of us rock with you and the movement. Well, listen, Day of the Jackal, you say you're from the Caribbean. Let's talk about that. Black immigrants not getting treated like that, though. I want to make sure to make that distinction. Black immigrants are not getting papered up. Black immigrants aren't getting the jobs, because when we did that podcast about that secret job fair, I didn't see one black immigrant in that bunch. I didn't see a one. But yet black immigrants are coming over too. Well, they're not giving them the jobs. They're not giving them the money like that. And if they are getting it, it's very minimum. They're still practicing anti-black racism. And that's why the immigrants in New York, black immigrants, start protesting. Because they say, hey, wait a minute, hold on. You giving all these resources to these Venezuelans and everybody else that's coming across here. But the Africans, we can't get nothing? Let me see if I can find that clip, y'all. Give me a second. I got to find that clip. It just popped in my head. I remember that clip. Let me see if I can find it. About the Africans protesting. Just give me a second. Because they do not treat Africans the same way. Not at all. Let's see, immigrants. Hold on, give me a second. Let's see, protests. Okay. Just give me a second, y'all. I gotta make this point so y'all could really see. Let's see. It was black rather. Okay, right here. Let me make sure. Let me find out exactly where it started at. Boom, boom. All right, let me cue this.
Dozens rallied on the steps outside.
Let me play this for y'all so y'all can see exactly what we're talking about here. Where is it at? All right. I'm still trying to find where that noise is coming from. I know it's not coming from YouTube. But anyway, let's cue this
Inside
up.
City Hall, and hundreds showed up in support nearby inside the council chambers. Tears were shed for all black migrants impacted by what advocates are calling unfair treatment.
They are here to show you that they belong and that they are here and that they should not be erased. Please listen to them.
Tuesday, City Council members held its first hearing to learn more about the experiences black migrants have been going through in New York.
Black migrants have reported verbal and physical abuse due to the color of their skin.
Federal immigration laws are either slowing down the process for these migrants to get working permits, or depending on what country they come from, it makes them ineligible.
But when they give our work permits, we can work and take care of ourselves.
Governor Kathy Hochul has tried to speed along the process. These migrants are also up in arms over language access barriers and temporary shelters, saying 30 days isn't long enough. This mother and her two kids have been staying at the Humanitarian Relief Center at...
Now you see it's none but African immigrants. It wasn't everybody, right? It wasn't all. It's just the Africans, okay? Because they're not treating them right like they're treating the other
Floyd Bennett Field. But she says the city should be providing more assistance.
What I expect to have like help from American people, I did not see that.
The Relief Center continues to be a point of contention for Republican council member Vicky Palladino, who says the city is already giving the migrants too much.
This is absolute insanity at its finest.
And most migrants we saw out here today were young men.
Okay, so let me stop it right there. So they had to go up there and protest and say something because they're not getting the job fairs, they're not getting the treatment, and they're getting the racism. You understand? See, this is what we try to tell our distant cousins that come over here to America. They don't like you. They don't like you, but they'll play a game with you and say, oh, you're better than black Americans. And that's for you just to make you think a certain thing, or for them to, be easy around you. But they laughing at the same time because they don't like you either. Now, you may say, well, we get more successful here, this and that and the third. No, it's not enough for you to be more successful. It's not. You're small in number. But at the end of the day, they're going to do the glass ceiling to you. They're going to, like I said, we've seen issues where police have taken the lives of Africans and Caribbeans. You don't get a pass here. It's just bottom line. But you do not see, where was that everybody crowd? See? And then when a lot of Haitians was coming, let's talk about the Haitians. When they were coming over, Biden was like, get your behind. He was acting like Trump. Biden was acting just like Trump. He don't want no Haitians here. Oh, no. Haitians, not. Haitians, get yourself right back to Port-au-Prince. You not coming here. Not you. And you would think some of our distant cousins would get it. You would think that. They don't like you because you got this skin tone. You may be exotic to them a little bit, maybe, because you got an accent. You may have different features than Black Americans do. But at the end of the day, no, sir, and no, ma'am. They don't like you like that. And then the deal is when some of you actually believe these people like you and you get kind of inflated in that, and then they kind of give you that wake-up call, then you want to come to us at the time like, oh, brothers, sisters, look at how they treat me. I'm like, It wasn't no brother and sister before. Why is brother and sister now? We try to prevent that from happening to you, brother. Now you want to come over here and not go over there with them folks. That's how we get down over here. So that inclusiveness they're talking about don't mean even Black immigrants. That inclusiveness about LGBT don't even include the Black LGBT. Let me tell you that too. It don't include the Black LGBT because I've talked to Black people who are LGBT and they have told me, they said, Phil, first of all, that agenda they pushing we ain't pushing that as Black LGBT. That's number one. They said, number two, we are dealing with racism from the white LGBT within our own LGBT community. That's what they have told me. I've talked with them. They're dealing with the same racism. They're not getting a pass over there with their brethren. They're not. You may see them parading Billy Porter. And the reason why they parade Billy Porter or Don Lemon or all people like, you see them parading them because America wants that to be the image of a Black man, Billy Porter. You understand what I'm saying? They don't want a Black man with a statue like James Evans. They don't want that kind of Black man, right? Or they don't want a Black man like the show Rock, right? They don't like definitely Black fathers. They do not want any Black fathers to be an example. They never want a Black father to be an example of anything. They hate the Black father. So it's their job to try to make sure that they can demonize and ostracize the Black father. That's why they try to make sure, you're talking about destroying the family, where if you destroy the family, then it's the Black father that you got to get at, because the father is the one that hold the glue together. You understand? So they don't want to show a proper image of even a Black father. Because listen, when you see a good Black father, and definitely a father that's successful too, that inspires other Black men. Black women like seeing that. Black children like seeing that image. You don't want to see no image of Pookie and Ray Ray. You want to see that kind of image. It's a positive image for our community. It's to have good Black fathers out here. And they don't want to promote that. But I want y'all to notice something else. Notice they're not trying to break up the families of the migrants that come through here. They're not trying to break up their families. They're keeping their families intact. They're not giving them no reproductive justice on the border. You would think that's the people they will be pushing reproductive justice on because they're in poverty, right? They come from countries, some of them making $3 a day, $4 a day. We talking about American dollars. And they coming over here pregnant with babies in tow, pregnant though. Wouldn't you think they would have all kind of satellite clinics or Planned Parenthood to give them some good Democrat reproductive justice? No. Reproductive justice is only directed at you, Black woman. You. They want you to go to Planned Parenthood. They want you to have reproductive justice. Understand? And even that term I told you before is so wicked. It's wicked. Reproductive justice. Well, reproductive means reproducing. Reproducing. So if I'm going to have reproductive justice, then that means to me the maternal mortality rate should be going down. That's reproductive justice to me. The maternal mortality rate. But yet that's not down. That's not down whatsoever. But yet they don't care about the maternal mortality rate for black women. They can care less. They can care less. But y'all supposed to go. That's the party that y'all supposed to be going to vote for. That one. Vice President Kamala Harris. Do you think if she get in office, she's gonna stop migrants going to Chicago? Do you really think that? Do you really think she's gonna tell Brandon Johnson, "Hey, I'm the president now, so in Chicago, that's not happening no more. Don't give them no money. Don't give them nothing. No, we got to take care of our people in Chicago, and we got to, you think she'll get on the phone to Brandon Johnson and tell him that? No. No, she's not. Like those of you that's just really supporting her and talking about, oh my God, you think it's gonna be the best thing since sliced bread? What do you think she's gonna do for black people? She don't even want to address us. She don't address us at all. She don't address our issues. Y'all say she gonna be the first black woman. Y'all calling her black. Y'all calling her that. Y'all speaking for her. She's not even speaking for herself. And going to an HBCU is not a qualification. If that's the case, well, Rachel Dolezal is just as black as I am. She went to an HBCU. Actually, Rachel Dolezal actually did some good things for black people when she was in the NAACP. She was on the commission in the city she was in for police brutality and judging cases to charge cops and all of that. Rachel Dolezal was doing that. Where's your girl, Kamala? She wasn't doing, not even what Rachel Dolezal was doing. So if you're gonna call somebody black and helping black people, I'd rather Rachel Dolezal at this point. At least she ain't harmed no black people. Yeah, she was cosplaying, but hey, if somebody gonna cosplay, I'd take Rachel right now, because at least she did something for black people. Look at this other one. She put people in jail. She, what's that brother, Jamal Truelove, and what she did to that brother. He telling his story now. Not doing the case of Matrice Richardson, right? The parents and all that about the truancy and laughing about it. You know what I'm saying? Rachel Dolezal didn't do all that. And once again, it wasn't even black Americans that exposed her. It was her own people because they couldn't stand her. They couldn't stand what she was doing. Because one thing them folks don't like is a white person that's going to stand up with black people. Oh, they don't like that. That kind of white person is worse than a black person to them. Worse. I did not know, and I had somebody talk about this the other day. They got white people that go to Bethune-Cookman out there in Florida. So all those white people that go to Bethune-Cookman or Asian people or whoever, all of them are black. That's like the criteria for blackness now. Man, y'all lowering the bar that low, but because of the candidate that you support. And then you ask them, okay, what do you support? What is she going to do for black Americans? And you say, okay, I got to get her in. They can't tell you other than she's, in their mind, black and she's a woman. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. She's black and she's a woman. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Now, do y'all actually have a reality conversation? Do you think a bunch of white men? Let's talk for real. Do you think a bunch of white men is going to? You say FAMU too, yeah. Do you think a bunch of white men is going to go vote Vice President Kamala Harris? And in general, even white women, do you think a majority of them will go vote for her? When on your job, they can't stand to see a black person over them. On your job. How many of you have gotten a supervisory position on your job? You deserved it. And day one, Karen and them was giving you hell on earth when you told them to go do something. And you had to kind of regulate on them a little bit about, hey, that's the position you in. If you don't want to do it, then hey, you ain't got to be here. They don't want to. They don't even want to respect your authority. They feel they don't have to respect your authority on the job. Sometimes you got to go get your white supervisors over you to go tell them because they're not doing their job because listen, it's hardwired into them not to respect black people, especially in positions of authority. You understand? They cannot respect black people in authority. And it's even worse, she's a black adjacent woman. Now, we'll say that she's not, but in their mind, they calling her the N-word, okay? But full stop. We can have all the conversation we want, delineation, and we write on it, but I'm just talking about their primitive thinking. They look at her as black or black Indian. That's how they look at her. They know she ain't a white woman, bottom line. And some of them get offended because of her husband too. And his religion. That's also plays into some of it. So you got some of them with their ways that don't like her husband because of his religion. Then her, on top of that, we're not even talking about her qualifications or non-qualifications. We're not even getting to that point yet. Just the optics of those two, a lot of them folks not going to vote for that. We're talking about the folks. Then let's go on the other side of it. Some people don't feel comfortable. That's why Hillary Clinton lost. She won a popular vote. She did, but she lost Electoral College. Some people don't feel comfortable with a woman in that position. We got to keep it 100. There are women that don't feel comfortable with a woman in a position like that. We're talking about women. And notice I'm saying women, not color. I'm just saying women. There are some women that don't feel comfortable with a woman in certain positions. They feel comfortable with a man in certain positions. So that's another thing that she's going to have to deal with voters. You know what I'm saying? So she's going to have to deal with that. Now let's get to the qualification part. She's been in office with Joe Biden, and they didn't really have a successful presidency. Afghanistan was a big mess, right? When they got into office, the border was secure. If they had left it alone, they'd have been good. You look at Ukraine, you look at what's going on with Israel and Palestine, all these conflicts are going on, and it didn't start happening until they got in office. They would have been cruising to re-election if they just left everything like it was, left the interest rates like it was, the inflation, if it stayed where it was at or got better, she could have easily cruised at that point. But look at the economy. So it lets people know that you can't manage because we almost teeter-tottering on World War III. You can't handle things domestically with the economy. So why should people trust you to do that, right? Versus the previous, former president, he proved that he can actually handle things globally. He didn't get us into new wars. And the economy and businesses was raving and thriving in his tenure. So you got to deal with that. So when people say, that's why a lot of times I don't think she don't want to do interviews, because if you ask her, well, look at inflation. Why people should trust you to get it down? She got to give an answer for that because she's in office. You can't say Trump's not in office. You are. If they ask her a question, well, interest rates are the highest it's ever been in a very long time. What is your plan to get it back down to at least 2019 levels? What's your plan? That's pressing her on the issues. That's not like asking her about her skin tone. I can care less about her skin tone. I told you I'm done with that conversation. What I care about is policies. What is she going to do? What are you going to do about ending this thing in Ukraine and Russia? Hey, American citizens are tired of their money going to senseless wars, and we need money back at home. When are you going to stop giving money? And that is simple questions. That's not gotcha questions. That's just simple questions that even a friendly network could ask her. right? Nothing was gotcha that I asked. That's why she don't want to do an interview, because she don't want to give an account for that. She don't. Because if she had an answer to it, then the problem would be solved right now. And they ask her, hey, at the campaign rally, you said you was going to do no tax on tips, but you never promoted that, but President Trump was promoting that. What made you say you wanted no tax on tips? She going to have to answer why she all of a sudden said that. And that's a legitimate question. It's not a gotcha question. Well, then you could say, well, you know, in your administration, in 2022, y'all was instructing the IRS to start looking at waiters' tips, but now you want to no tax on tips? Like what changed? You know, that's simple questions. She would have to answer that. And that's what she wants to avoid. She wants to avoid questions about the administration and her what's she gonna do to fix it. But at a debate, you can't avoid it. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that first debate. Was it September 10th on ABC? I'm waiting for that. Yes, Mike, a lot of countries, and that's another thing. A lot of countries are looking at America right now. And they trying to figure out what's going on. Are we going to get Trump or are we going to get her? Geopolitics wise. People looking at her laughing all over the place, laughing. I mean, like, listen, I like to laugh too, but like, come on. When you're dealing with these world leaders, this is what some people are not thinking about. Okay, first black adjacent woman to be a president. Okay, fine. Now what? Now you got the job. How you going to deal with Vladimir Putin? How you going to deal with him? Because he going to see you coming. What you going to do, laugh in his face too? What you going to do, say a friend in need is a friend indeed too? He was like, oh my God, man, we're going to regulate on America. All of them, listen, you put her in office, every leader that really wanted to get at America, they're going to say, oh, it's time now. Because they will view that her. It's not that she's a woman, it's the type of woman. You understand what I'm saying? Like her demeanor. Give you an example. You remember when Tulsi Gabbard was running and you see her demeanor? If she had that type of demeanor, you know, where she was just, you know, she's not laughing all the time. She's just real straight. She was military. If Kamala had that demeanor, it'd be a little different. She don't have that. That's not her personality. So you gonna go in front of, that's what y'all not thinking about. The world is bigger than just the shores of America. You have world leaders that's looking at the United States. Look at all the things that Iran has tried, China has tried, Russia has tried, all these different things that these people have been doing. Look at all the cyber attacks. They people say it's a data breach. That's a cyber attack. Every other week, a data breach. No, these are cyber attacks from foreign countries. And the Biden-Harris administration has not been protecting the American people. Just about everybody's social security numbers on the dark web now. I've never seen this many data breaches before in my life. You know what I'm talking about? Every other day you get an email. Oh, well, the credit card company, data breach. Oh, well, the hospital, data breach. Oh, Ticketmaster, data breach. Everything that people use in this country that store information, a data breach. And it's been an uptick of it during the Biden administration. And where's your senators talking about this? Where's your House members talking about this? Where's the Homeland Security, FBI? Where's CIA? Nobody's talking about this. Why they tried all this mess? Because we have a president right now that was falling up the stairs. And on top of that, this is the kicker. Vice President Kamala Harris covered Joe Biden's cognitive decline. She knew this man was this way. She went along with it all this time. And then in the final hour, now all y'all gonna turn on him? When y'all been covering this man's cognitive decline for a while. And to me, that also don't make her or the Democrat Party trustworthy, because if you were trustworthy to your voters, you would have told Joe Biden, hey, your health is not where it's at. Man, just look, finish your term out. Look, you can't run, man, because clearly you don't need to do this. And if they would have been honest and told Joe Biden that, and then let some other people get in the primary and actually have a Democrat, candidate and all that and do it the right way, this wouldn't even be a conversation. But no, you let the man get 14 million votes. You knew this man had cognitive decline. All y'all covered it up. Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, all y'all was covering this mess up until y'all got exposed with it at that debate. Y'all had no choice but to kind of switch him out now. Yes, Mike, elder abuse. That is elder abuse. That's exactly what they were doing. It's considered elder abuse. That was not right what they were doing to Joe Biden. Sorry, it's not right. Much as I disagree with his politics and some of the stuff he's done to my people, but reality speaking, that wasn't right, Democrats, what y'all did to that man. It wasn't right. Y'all knew this man had cognitive issues. Vice President Kamala Harris covered it up because she went along with it. She never said anything. She went along with it. So how can we trust her to be trustworthy when she went along with the lie that this man's health was good? When clearly in gaslighting the American people, Corinne Jean-Pierre, I guess she's doing her job, lying for him or whatever. People asking, hey, what's up with his health? Man, he keep falling all over the place. Like, what's wrong? You okay? This, that, and the third. Then he had a medical emergency in Las Vegas. They released the tapes of that. That's when he was, that was before he ended up dropping out. He had a medical emergency. But Kamala Harris is covering it up too. She's just as guilty on the cover up of this man's health. She's guilty. How y'all gonna sit up here and reward her with the presidency when she covered up this man's health for the American people? You say we must be unburdened by what has been. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I'm just telling y'all just to think, like, is your life better today than it was a few years ago? That's all. Do you have more money? If you're in a city like Chicago, New York, is your life better? And where your life is at today, do you want a continuation of it? That's all. That's all you got to ask your question. Do I want a continuation where I'm at now? You say, could it get worse? Yes, it can get worse. I think Trump said something, I kind of believe it. He said, if you put her in office, you're going to have a depression like the 1920s. I could believe that. Oh, I could believe it. And then that's when y'all going to start crying about, oh my God, this is, I'm telling you. Because y'all want to play gender politics, identity politics. This is not the time to play that game. We don't have the luxury. You got to have somebody that know how to deal with geopolitics, deal with the economy, try to bring some manufacturing jobs back, shut down all, because you think about it, all the money that we have siphoning out is our tax dollars are going to migrants. Now the migrants getting in where they fitting in. Because, hey, if you give it up for free, why won't they take it? So I'm not really fully blaming them, but I'm talking about the Democrat Party and what they're promoting. They believe immigrants first, Americans last. And they show this in their actions. But what they want to give Americans, reproductive justice. That's what they want to give America. Yeah, prices are too high. You're right. They can go higher, too. They can go higher to the point you run into a depression. It can happen. Do you want 10, 15% inflation? It can happen. Do you want 10 to 12% interest rates? It can happen. It can. I will reward a candidate if everything going good, but it's not going good. It is horrible, ladies and gentlemen. It's horrible. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the stream tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the like button. Make sure you click the subscribe button. That's very important. If you have not signed up for the Ethiopia trip, make sure you do that. That's AfricanDiasporaNews.org/Ethiopia. Last time out, it was reported to me we had 5 spots left. I don't know where we're at, but I'm just going to go off for the 5. And also download the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play Apple App Store. Once you do that, hit create account. You can select monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Make sure also you go to our podcast tonight, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll have a podcast there for you about what Black voters are suffering in Philadelphia. And they definitely got some decisions to make in this election as well. Make sure you come back 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, tomorrow. And Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You may not get a notification from YouTube, so just come over here and check, hey, if they live or not, just come over and check. So thank y'all for listening.